Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. My name is Sean, and I'm delighted you joined us for today's ESPC community webinar. Today I'm joined by Lars Becker, who will cover No Data, No Success, how to leverage AI and Microsoft Fabric for smarter business decisions. We love hearing what you guys have to say, so remember to join in the conversation about today's webinar and more on X. Our handle is @ESPC_community and our hashtag is #ESPC25. Tweet us, tag us, and tell us what you learned. Don't forget to check out our Learning Hub, which has updated the latest blogs, ebooks, webinars, and how-to videos. You can access and view the Learning Hub by visiting our website, sharepointeurope.com, and clicking the Content tab at the top. Don't let the learning stop here. Continue to keep up and stay ahead by joining us for our next webinar, Securing Azure OpenAI and Azure AI Services, Best Practices for the Field, with Thiago Costa, MVP. This webinar will take place Monday, the 18th of August, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. CEST. For more information on this webinar, please check out www.sharepointeurope.com/register for webinars. Seats are filling fast, from Microsoft Fabric, data engineering to AI-powered Power BI, real-time architectures, data factory, and Purview governance. Our hands-on webinars are designed to equip you with practical expertise, ready skills needed to stay ahead in today's fast-moving data landscape. Capacity is limited and some sessions are already sold out. So now it is time to secure your place. Whether you're focused on building modern data solutions, improving government strategies, or leading your organization's AI transformation, there's a session tailored to support your goals. Register today and take the next step on your data journey. ESPC 25 is where Microsoft 365 professionals come to stay ahead as Microsoft 365 undergoes a major transformation driven by AI. It's no longer just about new features. It's time to complete shift in how productivity is delivered. At ESPC 25, you'll get early insights into what's coming and how to prepare your organization and teams to succeed faster in a new era. Don't just keep up, lead the change. After the webinar, we'll have a questions and answers session. Type any questions you might have into the questions box. Questions will be selected and answered at the end of the presentation. This webinar will be recorded and added to the Resource Center, where you'll be notified by email when it is available. And now I'm going to pass you over to today's webinar presenter, Lars. Hello, Lars. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello everybody. Welcome Fabric community to the today webinar with the title No Data, No Success, How to Leverage AI and Microsoft Fabric for Smarter Business Decisions. My name is Lars Becker. I am your speaker today, and my job or my role is the role of a data scientist in the Department of Digital Workspace and AI by a German IT consulting company called Synalis. And if you have any question or you want to talk about data, AI, and stuff like that with me, just feel free to send me a mail or write me on LinkedIn, or if you old school, you can also just call me via phone. So yeah, let's start with our agenda. I think the first point we already have done. I welcome you, and after the agenda, I will give you a short introduction to our topic today. And the first thing I will give you is a small overview over Fabric. I think some of you are familiarized already with Fabric, but some of you are maybe new to Fabric. And for you, I give you a small overview about Microsoft Fabric.
Lars,
yes?
if you want to just share your screen, it's just not shared at the moment.
Oh,
you just click
okay,
share.
sorry.
You're all good.
Sorry.
There you go. Yeah, I can see it perfectly now. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so I hope now everybody can see my screen, and yeah, this is the agenda. And yeah, after this short overview about Microsoft Fabric, I will show you the example for today. We will use the New York City dataset as our basic dataset for today. And then we go a little bit deeper. I will show you the medallion architecture, an architecture to solve data or analytic projects. And Yeah, then we will start with the ETL process, and then I will show you how we can use AI algorithms in Fabric to do predictions. And at the end, I will show you how we can do visualizations in Power BI. Yeah, through all these parts, I will give you some live demo in Microsoft Fabric, and at the end, we will do a conclusion and have a short outlook into the future. Yeah, at this point, I would like to start with a quotation. The world's most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. And this quotation is from Kiran Bageshwar, the CTO of Kumulu, a popular IT company with specialization in the fields of big data technology, cloud technology, and also AI. And I like this quotation very much because of the picture, of the image, of the metaphor behind this quotation. I think oil is the most essential resource of the economy in the last decade to grow our economy so big like it is today. And if we think about economic process like transportation, oil is nearly everywhere. So if we go by car or by train or by a plane or ship or even in a rocket, yeah, we need oil for the fuel to can run this system. But oil is much more than only for fuel. We can use oil also for plastics. So it is a very diverse resource. And there are a lot of similarities between oil and data. And if you think about the process, how we get oil, yeah, we have to pump oil out of the earth, and then we have to refine oil to get fuel, and then we can make a lot of products out of oil, for like plastic. With data, it's nearly the same. Yeah, we have big data in our cloud system and so on, and then we have to clean the data, we have to transform the data, and then we can use data to learn our AI models to get the information. So there are a lot of similarities between oil and data. And why is data so important? Because in a company, it's important to make good decisions. Successful companies did successful decision in the past and will do successful decision in the future. And the best way to do decisions is not by your feeling, it's data driven. And with good data, with good information, you can do good decision. And this is why data is so important today. And it's nearly the same important role like data in the past. So this is why data is the fuel for the future. Yeah, and then we will go to the next slide. Data is the fuel for AI. And the statement is true because here is also the similarity like oil, because without oil, you can't run a car or a plane or a ship. So you need oil for your motor, and you also need data for your AI models. Without data, you can't train your AI models. Without data, you cannot predict your results. You can't get any information without data. So data is the fuel for AI. And like oil for a motor, if you have high quality oil, you have a good refined process, you get a very powerful fuel, and then you can run with a very fast motor. It's the same with data. If you have high quality data and you have a good process where you get the data really clear and you transform the data in the way you can use it for your purpose, yeah, that's a very similarity to oil. You get very good results. You get the information out of your AI system. You get very good predictions. And yes, this is why data and AI is currently such an important, such a popular topic. Yeah, and at this point, I think everybody of you knows the current hype about AI. And here on this slide, you see some AI products and some AI companies and yeah, some AI technology. And you see there's a lot, and this is only some. There are much more than here on the slides. And yeah, maybe you get a feeling like, okay, maybe I not see the forest for the trees. And that's true because it's so much, especially if you have a data project and you're not sure what product you want to choose. And especially in the analytics way, if we want to do data analytics, I will present you today the Swiss Army knife for data analytics called Microsoft Fabric. So when we have some data projects or some data analytics stuff, there are a lot of challenges at the beginning. We start, for example, with data silos and the data quality. Normally, your data you want to analyze or you want to handle are stored in different locations. And the data does not share any common storage and they are in different formats and things like that. So maintaining high data quality is therefore not easy. And this is a problem. And this is one part of the data integration and transformation process. Another point is cost control. If you use different systems for your data analytics, they have, it's challenging to keep track and allocate costs actually because every system allocates the cost differently, and it's very soon you lost the control of your cost. And we want the cost control transparent and easy. And this is possible if you only use one system. And the last point is complexity. Data analytics process can be very complex. The technique can be very complex, and you need a very specialized personnel. And even then, with complex system, errors occur frequently, and we want to avoid this with an easy system, which is easy to handle. Yeah, and to get these challenges, avoid these challenges or to handle these challenges, we use the unified data platform for AI transformation called Microsoft Fabric. And I like to compare Microsoft Fabric to Microsoft Office because I think nearly everybody uses Office in his daily work life. Yeah, Office is a suite of productivity tools like Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. And each tool is optimized for a specific task, such as creating spreadsheets or writing a document or doing some presentation stuff. However, the application in Office shares some common elements, whether it's user experience, spell checking, or the ability to copy, paste, and format text. They also share fundamental components like managing the application within Office, saving, and collaboration on documents. And now imagine Microsoft Fabric in a similar way. Yeah, it is a suite of analytics tool, whether it's data integration with Data Factory or building a data warehouse for storage or analyze data in Power BI. All tools in Microsoft Fabric share common elements like in Office. And the way the data connection are made, how artifacts are managed in workspaces and transitions from development to testing and production, yeah, they also share fundamental layers in the Fabric platform. It's centralized and it's managed security compliance as well as storing collaboration within one lake. And yeah, speaking about one lake, we can think about one lake like your one drive for your data. So one lake is the complete, the everywhere basis of your platform. And one lake is the unified data lake for your entire organization. It's automatically available to all Fabric workloads. You don't need to copy or move data between services. Every service can go to the data in your one lake. It's everywhere, it's stored once and reused everywhere with a common format and structure. So this one lake idea, this eliminates data silos and enables seamless collaboration between teams, tools, and services. Another point here is Microsoft Purview. Microsoft Purview is integrated into Fabric. You also get powerful governance capabilities. Purview provides an end-to-end visibility across your data estate with features like data lineage, classification, and access control. Yeah, it ensures your data are secure, compliant, and well documented, even in highly regulated environments. And yeah, at this point, finally, let's talk about Copilot in Fabric. I think some of you know Fabric from your office environment. Since short, Copilot is also available in Fabric, and this is where things get really exciting. Copilot is your AI assistant here that helps you writing code, generate reports, build data pipelines, and even create DAX or SQL query in using natural language. So it's very beginner friendly here. Yeah, simply describe Copilot is your Copilot. Whenever you need helps, you get it faster every time, available 24/7. Yeah, it's whenever you are a business user or a data engineer, Copilot makes advanced analytics more accessible than ever. And yeah, just like Office revolutionized the way we work with documents, Microsoft Fabric is the revolution of how we work with data. Unified, intelligent, and yeah, collaborative. And yeah, at this point, I want to go more into practice. Let's have a view how we work in data projects. In data projects, we have typically 3 steps. The first step is the data integration or the data import. Yeah, we have to get our data from different sources to our platform. And the tool in Microsoft Fabric to do this is Data Factory. There are a lot of predefined connectors to connect to different data sources and bring the data into the platform. And then we do analytics. In the analytics part, we can store our data in lakehouses, warehouses, and use, for example, notebooks to run our AI models, train our models, and do our prediction and whatever we want to do in our analytics part. And at the end, with Power BI, we can do visualization of our results, of our data, and go and give the user deep insights in the data. Yeah, and these steps are shown or are part of the so-called medallion architecture. And this is the goal of the webinar today. Our webinar is separated in 3 parts. The first part is called the data integration part. And the idea of the medallion architecture is it's a modern data architecture pattern which is designed to improve the data quality, the data structure, and the usability of data in a step-by-step manner. So we do a data analytics process step by step, and so we do our webinar today step by step. And the 3 logical layers are bronze, silver, and gold, just like Olympic medals. And yeah, we start with the bronze layer, so with the layer on the left side, or with the first medal in the Olympic manner. And in this bronze level, we do the data integration. We import data from, as I called before, various sources using different tools, preparing, and in this step, we also can prepare data and provisioning using, for example, data flows Gen 2. And later in the webinar, I will show you in Microsoft Fabric how we can do this data integration by a notebook or even with a Gen 2 data flow. Yeah, and after the step, we have the data in our system, and then we will do the next step, the silver step. In the silver layer, we clear and filter and enrich the data. What we are after the bronze step, we have the raw data in our system, and then we do the cleaning, filtering, and enriching. And here we do things like removing duplicates. We do formats and standardization and joining data with other reference tables and things like that. The result of that is consistent and trusted data ready for analytics or machine learning. Yeah, after this cleaning step, we can use our machine learning, train our models, and so on. And this is what we do in the silver layer. And finally, we can go to the gold layer. This is where data is aggregated and optimized for reporting or decision making. So we took the clean data from silver layer and optimize the data for our specific task, for specific information, or for specific monitoring and things like that, for things that the customer wants to know. And that could be things like monthly sales by region, customer segmentation, KPIs. And in Power BI, we can build powerful dashboards, powerful visualization that you get the information quite direct with one view. And the nice thing in this medallion architecture, we can create or design a kind of data pipelines in this way, and we can separate data, separate concerns, improve data quality, and make our analytics more reliable and scalable. Okay, so at this point, let's start with our databases. For our webinar today, we use, I think, a very popular data set, called the New York Taxi dataset. And this is open source data set. I think here at the bottom of the slides, you see the URL. This project was started by the New York City government, and the New York City government want to get some insights of the traffic behavior. And then the New York City government started to containing trips from taxis and limousines conducted in New York City. and offer it to the public. And yeah, then some IT companies, some researchers started to with the goal to get new insights to insights into driving behavior, into fares, traffic patterns, and other aspects of urban mobility. Yeah, and this data set include a variety of fields that contain information about trips, fares, and geographic data, but much more. It also includes data about pickup times, drop-off times, number of passengers, tip amount, so also very detailed things, and like pick amount or the type of your payment. For example, did you pay by cash or credit card, and what taxi supplier you choose. Yeah, and this is very interesting, and this data set is common in use for different type of data project. And yeah, we will use today this data set for our practical tasks. Okay, and yeah, now we start with our first part with the data integration. And the main process in data integration is the ETL process. It's extraction, transforming, and load the data. And then we organize it, we load it, that different services can use this data. And this job is done by Data Fabric in Microsoft Fabric. Okay, and here you see the slide in English. Sorry for that. Okay, yeah, and the ETL process is done by Data Factory, and I would say let's jump to Microsoft Fabric and do a live demo with Data Factory. Okay, so first of all, this is the landing page in Microsoft Fabric, and I think it looks quite similar to Power BI. So if you are familiar with Power BI, this looks quite similar to you. And here in the front, you have some artifacts you can choose. For example, you want to create a new workspace, you can do it by just clicking here. And even if you are a beginner, you find here on the learning page some tutorial how to do analytics stuff here in Microsoft Fabric. For example, here's a 1-minute introduction video, how you can ingest data into Fabric. So this is what we do now, or build a lakehouse, or creating some machine learning models. Yeah, and we will go to our bronze demo. And yeah, I prepared some stuff for you today. And in this workspace, it's, I think, yeah, it's right. We use a notebook to import the data. And yeah, a really nice thing you hear is you see the whole ETL process. And here in the left point, you see here, get data. Here we import the data. This is the E process, the extract process. And this extraction we will do by a notebook. And after we extract the data, we store the data in a lakehouse. So this is the middle part of the ETL process. And after that, we will do, with an data flow Gen 2, we will transform and clean the data that we can load this data to other services for the next processes in our analytics process. Okay, so let's start with the data import. Here you see my notebook, and yeah, a notebook, this environment is similar to other environment you use for coding. And notebooks, typically you use notebooks when you're programming in Python. And yeah, here in the headline, you can choose which language you want to use. So you can do it in Python, or you can also use Spark or R. And yeah, today we will use Spark Python because we want to import data. And first of all, we have to connect to a computation session. And this we do with starting a new session. And then we have to wait a moment that we get connected to the computation session. And this is the nice thing in Microsoft Fabric. You don't need to allocate some computation clusters and things like that. All the stuff is automatically done by Microsoft Fabric. So I can focus on the analytic part, on the coding, and all this allocation stuff is done automatically by Microsoft Fabric. So it's very nice for me. It's also very easy for beginner. Okay, and then let's start with the data import. So here in this line, you see we import the data via URL, and the URL you see here is a URL which is reference to the New York City open source dataset you find here on the website, and it's from the January of 23, and the data are stored in Amazon Web Storage. And yeah, we just only store data of the months of the January of 2023 because there's so much data, it's enough for today. Yeah, so if you want to do it on yourself, you can find the data here. And yeah, then we import the data, and we will store the data in our lakehouse. And yeah, if we run this, at this point we start our cluster, our Spark session cluster, and then we read our Parquet files. So maybe you know things like warehouse, lakehouse, and data lake. So a lakehouse is a combination of warehouse and data lake. So in the warehouse, we have both structured and unstructured data, and the structured part try to give us a global overview from different sources in a way optimized for analytics. Yeah, so we store this data, and we store this in our lakehouse, and we want to show us the first 5 rows of our data frame. And yeah, the data is stored in a data frame in this process, and the data frame is a special thing of Apache Spark. A data frame is a distributed in-memory table that organizes data into named columns, just like in traditional database tables. But unlike the regular tables, data frames in Spark are optimized for parallel processing across a cluster of machines. So it runs very fast, and this allows us to perform complex data transformations and analytics operation at scale using a high-level API available in languages like Python, Scala, or SQL, and Spark handle this distribution automatically in the memory management behind the scenes. So you can focus on your logic and not on your infrastructure. Yeah, and this is a very powerful tool, and we will do this. We can see it here in this part, and at the end we write this in our data in our lakehouse, and we give this a new schema, the so-called delta schema. Delta and Parquet are schemas in lakehouses, and they are formats to give us very quick access to data. And yeah, at this step, we have to allow our system to use the system. It is not automatically given in Spark, so we have to give the rights to do this. And yeah, at the end, we display our data. And if we go here, we see the data we load in our lakehouse. And yeah, this data is very structured. So the first part is done. But at this point, let's have a look what is the quality of our data. And this quality check I do with the function summary and show. And here we can see that the quality, we have to clean the data. First of all, okay, we have a lot of data. We can see here nearly 3 million data rows. But if we have a look on passenger count, there are some trips with 0 passengers. I think this is wrong. There's an error in the data. And there are some trip distance also with 0 kilometers. And there are also some trips with nearly over 200,000 kilometers. So this would be more than 6 times around the world. So there are some errors in the data set. And you can also see it when we think about the total amount. Yeah, there are some costs that are negative. This is wrong. And there are also some very high taxi payments. So our next step would be to clean this data. And one option to do this is by the data wrangler. And for this, we can choose the data wrangler here. This is a live demo. So okay. We first have to run this and get a data frame. Because I did it before this webinar, but the runtime disconnected, and when the runtime disconnected, the cache gets dropped. So the data frame stored here gets dropped, and for the data wrangler we have a data frame. So let's run this, and after that I can show you the data wrangler. And when the system is running, I can give you some nice information about the data wrangler. The data wrangler is a low-code tool, so you can use the data wrangler without any coding skills. So if you open it, it's look very similar to the query editor, for example, in Power BI, and you can change your data by clicking here. So if you want to, for example, here we have a datetime, and you want to change it to for example to change it to data formatting, or split the text, or round some values. Yeah, you can do it here, and maybe we find something useful here. Sort and filter, okay. Yeah, or we can passenger count, we can, some values with null. We can find and replace top, or we can do something like drop duplicate rows, and then we can click on apply, and the data wrangler automatically write the code. And here you see the steps you do, like in the query editor and Power BI. And when you're done with your data transformation, you can click here, add to notebook. At this point, we don't do this, but if you want to add this to your notebook, you can click here. And then you go back, or we will get here. Here you see the code which we created in the data wrangler, and then we can process this. So you can do data transformation without any coding skills here. Okay, and yeah, after that we store our data in a lakehouse, and yeah, our lakehouse have two parts. We have on the one part, we have a semantic model where we have the table which are optimized for analytics, and we have an SQL endpoint. And this SQL endpoints give us the opportunity to query data in an SQL manner. So this allows us to create views, perform joins, or run ad hoc queries, just like in traditional relational databases. And yeah, and we can connect the lakehouse with this SQL endpoint. Yeah, and the last step here is to do data cleaning in a data flow. And the data flow we have here. And yeah, the first step is that we connect to our lakehouse. Then we have to do some navigation steps through the lakehouse. And then we go step by step to the tables we want to prepare, to transform, and then we do our preparation steps. So the first step in our table is we want to filter some rows. For example, I told you, there are no trips without passengers. So we drop every row where the number of passengers is smaller than 1. Okay, we do this. And the next step is that we change the data, the type of the variable. So number of passenger is not a string, it's an integer. And this is good for performance. Integer is always better than a string data type. And yeah, then we do some filtering stuff again. We say, okay, we only want to use trips which are bigger than 0. So trips without a distance, we drop, and we do the same with trips higher than 100. So trips higher than 100, we are only in New York City, are unrealistic or wrong. And yeah, the next step is that we are only interested in fares that are higher than 0. So every fares which are lower, we also drop. Yeah, and the last point is that we drop rows that are not interesting for our analytics part. Yeah, another point is here you see the column of location idea. Here are some codes. We use another table where we map the codes to real zones in New York. And this list we uploaded within CSV file. So you can use different type of data here also in the data flow. Yeah, and at this point, let's go back to our presentation. So in this part, you see how we can integrate data to our Fabric system and to transform it, to clean the data. And yeah, now we come to the second part, to the silver layer, how we can enrich the data. Yeah, and at this point, we do the analytics part. And in an analytics part, we have some research questions like, okay, for example, what could be a fair amount? So let's predict the fare a customer would pay for a trip. And what we need to predict this, we need, for example, the distance, the time, the number of passenger, etc. Another research question could be predicting how long a track will need in time based on start and end point, at the time we start, and the traffic and things like that. That are typically a research question, but there could be a lot more. It is very individual to the customer and what the needs of the customer are. Yeah, but here are some examples, and yeah, let's start with the first research question. For example, the research question is, how can travel costs be predicted based on distance, starting point, time of the day, and other factors? Our solution would be an algorithm, algorithm in the field of machine learning, for example, a random forest regression, XGB boost, or linear regression. And at this point, we choose linear regression because linear regression is a very easy algorithm and it works very easy. You can think about a coordination system, and every trip is a data point in this system. And the algorithm learns in the way that the points in the coordination system are the trips, and we draw a line through this point to get the error rate at a minimum. So yeah, the linear regression here shows a kind of middle of all trips. And when we get some data, we predict with this linear line our forecasts. And yeah, our main predictor, our important feature here is the travel distance. And there are also some other feature we can use for the prediction, for example, the start time. Yeah, and the target variable is the travel cost. This is the variable we want to predict. And yeah, we want to create a prediction model that can predict this with a low error rate. Yeah, and we can do this in Python, for example, in Python code, like you can see here. So it doesn't need much code to write AI models. Yeah, in Fabric, yeah, you can integrate the common libraries for this task. See in the top, then you build your Spark clusters. You read the data from your lakehouse here in a data frame. You drop banana values and you drop columns you don't need to predict. Yeah, then you build your learning data set, you separate your learning variables and your target variables with X and Y, and then you can start training. Yeah, you train your model with one line, and there you go. That's your prediction model. And then we can predict the values and can draw a linear regression. Yeah, that's it. And for the other research question, at this point, yeah, we also use an algorithm in the field of machine learning, but at this point we will use random forest regression because it's boring to always use the same regression. But I think random forest regression is a good algorithm, especially of the details of the times. Yeah, so yeah, there are a big difference when you start your travel. Is it a Sunday morning or a Tuesday evening or things like that? And random algorithm get this can represent this specialization very good. Yeah, and the target variable surprisingly is travel time. And yeah, the main predictor for this is the travel distance and also the starting time. And we want to build a prediction model, with low error rate. And yeah, let's jump to Fabric and show it to you. Yeah, so for this we go in the switch our workspaces and we go to the Silver demo workspace. And in my Silver demo workspace, you see my predictions. And yeah, quite the same like in the data import type. You have to connect to a new standard session. And a very nice thing here is that we can choose our own runtime environment. So here we can define our individual runtime environment, and for some data analytics process, you need your individual runtime because you have very specialized libraries or some you need some version of the libraries. Here you can build your own runtime. And yeah, I also need a very special library. I use Google Maps API to calculate the trip time and the distance. And so in my environment, I add this Google Maps API, and in my predictions, I use my individual analysis environment with this library. And yeah, here you see my code for learning. You see it in the slides. And yeah, we don't run it. I run it before this webinar, and we can. I will use this. I store this linear model in a. I trained it and stored it that we just can load it and can make some predictions. And okay, my cache is empty. So the nice thing is I stored my result. So for example, if you want to make some predictions with our model, here we can use our linear model, and we have some inputs, for example, a trip distance, and this trip distance we calculate by the Google Maps API. I give two destinations, for example, Empire State Building and Madison Square Garden. We calculate this distance and do some transformation stuff between miles and kilometers, and then we can predict the fare. Here is our distance in kilometers and miles, and we predict the price of $12. And this we can also do with some other destination, for example, Rockefeller Center and Trump Tower. We calculate the trip distance by the Google Maps API and predict the fare. Same thing with Central Square and Times Square. And the second model I done here with the random forest. Yeah, we use the same data. We use here some other features, for example, the distance, the hours, the weekday, and the number of passengers, and calculate something that called time we need to travel. And then I train my random forest regressor. And then we can do some prediction with this random forest regression. And for example, we can calculate, at weekday 3, so it's a Thursday at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then we get a travel time of 3 minutes and 54 seconds. And the same for the Rockefeller Center. We do it on a Monday. We get 3 minutes and 39 seconds. And for example, Central Square Park to Times Square at Tuesday, we need 5 minutes and 7 seconds. So doing artificial intelligence, doing machine learning is very, very easy in Fabric. And yeah, here you see my lakehouse to integrate my data here in the Spark session. I can do it by clicking. Yeah, I click load my data Spark, and then I can load my data here in my notebook. Okay, yeah, this is the AI part, the analytics part of Microsoft Fabric. So let's go back to the slides and come to the final, the data visualization. Yeah. With Power BI, we have a well-known, very powerful tool to make visualizations. And we can use Power BI to present results very compact and clearly. And we can also use Power BI to display patterns and features that would otherwise remain hidden. And we can sharp the focus with Power BI, create custom visualizations tailored to the analytics question, and so on. So we can tell a story with our visualization or even perform live controlling. So Power BI is a very powerful tool. And in our today webinar, I show you how we can analyze and utilize days and times of a day and display popular destination on a map and can calculate things like total revenue and comparison of prediction with our actual data. And yeah, let's go back to Fabric. And yeah, I built this report. I don't give so much in design things. I built it very fast, but I think the overall design is very clear. So in your headline, you should always have some KPIs. Here we have the total number of trip times, the most frequent days, the people travel by taxi. Here you see the average trip distance, and the last KPI is the average trip cost. And this is how you can build your typically report. And here you can add some filters. You can click here. You can choose some frames for the time. Yeah, for example that, and then your visuals get filtered, or you choose some zones, for example, some Bronx, or you want to get the airport and things like that, or you want to choose some specific taxi company. Here we have 2 different, and we can choose them. Yeah, and then we see in the visuals, what was the times where typically we are traveled by a taxi. Here we see the days where the taxis are used, and in the middle average line, and on the right map we can see the number of trips by zone. And this we can do by click and collect. So if we go to Power BI desktop, yeah, here you see if we go in the mode to make changes, yeah, you can, here on the right, you see the data model, yeah, you can add this model from your, for example, from your lakehouse, yeah, and then you can click and add this, for example, this data to your visualization by click and collect. Here you can choose your models, for example, a bar plot or a map plot or a line plot. And here in the KPIs, you can add a card, and then you can add your measures here to the card. So a very powerful, a very easy to handle data and present it in a very nice dashboard to your customer. Okay, then we go back to our slides, and yeah, I think we are at the end of our
Perfect.
webinar. And yeah, here's
Thank you,
the
Lars.
short conclusion, and I think we are quiet at the final and the time. And yeah, let's go back to you, Sean.
Perfect. Thank you, Lars, for a great presentation demo. So now getting to questions and answer part. Should you wish to ask a question, feel free to type in the questions box now. So one of the questions is, what capabilities do Fabric offer to maintain data security, lineage, and compliance, particularly when ingesting public or semi-structured data like the NYC Taxi dataset? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Oh, sorry. Did you hear my question?
No.
Oh, sorry. So what capabilities does Fabric offer to maintain data security, particularly when ingesting public or semi-structured data like the NYC Taxi dataset?
Oh, in this we can. Fabric has with Purview a very powerful tool to do data security and data governance and things like that, and it provides us the powerful Microsoft data security.
Perfect. Yeah, it looks like that's all the questions. So on the behalf of the ESPC community, we'd like to send a big thank you to you again, Lars, for taking time out today to carry this webinar. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
So that's the end of today's webinar. You can find this webinar and more at sharepointeurope.com/resource center. Thanks again for all of you joining us today, and I hope you join us again soon. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.